guys. Here's another live with me, Nuke, Nuclear Calillo, Nuke for short. Today I am joined by Chance Berryman. Um, so what's up, Chance? You can find him at chanceberryman.com in his link. And also same thing on his Twitter. Cool, down to earth guy. I believe you're still in Salt Lake City, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm still in Salt Lake City. It's cold today
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I've only heard good things from that city. So I'm sure you like it a lot out there.
Yeah.
Um, so welcome and everyone who's watching or will be watching, thank you for joining us. So
Thank you for having
um
me on, bud.
yeah, man. So everyone knows who I am. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you found Twitter or the space or whatever you want to call it and where you do what you do.
All right, sure. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I've really enjoyed your channel, and I wanted to say
Thanks, man.
that, yeah, you are presenting, in my opinion, like a fresh new sort of a viewpoint in the space. I think we're moving into like post red pill, like post being angry, post being mad at women, post holding a grudge. It is what it is, and I think that the more healthy perspective is the way that you share. It's just like, okay, what are we doing? What's
Solution
the
based. Yeah.
yeah, solution based? Like talking about how women used to be is not how
Hmm.
many times can we do that? Isn't they're not coming back? It's actually they're
Yeah.
going to get worse.
Worse or different or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, like maybe worse is an interpretation, but it's like the women that we have today are the thinnest, most quote unquote traditional that we're ever going to have in the rest of our lives. It's not. It's never going back. So I like how you deal with it in a pragmatic way. You don't seem angry with women. So I
No.
salute to you on that. Your channel's growing fast. You're getting a lot of views. So I just want to say, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Cool.
We're at
So to
three.
answer
I'm
your
at 321 and hopefully 500 by the end of May. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's,
yeah,
it's going fast. So I'm happy for you, proud of you, and everything.
thank
So
you,
to
thank
answer
you.
your question, yeah. So I go by chance. I'm located in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's beautiful here. I love it here.
Hmm.
My introduction. So you asked me my introduction to the space and to Twitter.
Yeah, just how you found this part of Twitter.
Yeah. How I found this part of Twitter probably was through YouTube. Maybe there was probably like everybody help finds the red pill space. I was probably trying to get a girl to text me back or
Hmm.
get a girlfriend back or something like that. How do I get this girl to text me? How do I get this girl to go out with me? Da 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 da. And you get into this rabbit hole or a funnel of listening to content creators on YouTube. So probably what happened is that most likely I followed somebody on YouTube on Twitter because I've really been on and off Twitter for years, but I never was really focused on it posting every day. Just up until the last 2 or 3 years when you and I connected, basically, was right when I was like getting serious about Twitter. So that's how I found Twitter through probably a YouTuber or a podcaster.
Okay.
And I've found Twitter to be one of the most valuable resources in my life. Like specifically Twitter, there's so many things that I've learned from Twitter, like fitness stuff, things about obviously the red pill and dealing with women, business stuff. It's amazing that like people say this all the time. It's amazing that Twitter is free because you get a lot
Yeah,
of
I'm astounded. I am astounded.
just the people that you can communicate with, contact, like the viewpoints that you get that I would never probably be exposed to otherwise. I just really appreciate that. So that's how I found Twitter. And then I believe you asked me, who am I and what do I do?
Yeah, what's your background? At
Yeah,
least
my background. Say it again, but
just your background. Doesn't have to get too unless you want.
yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I guess I'll like you. I'm a veteran, so I served in the United States Air Force.
That is
Uh,
correct. Yes.
4 years enlisted. I was 2 Alpha 0, 3 1 Bravo, which is an avionics backshop avionics tech on F-16s.
Cool.
So I did that for a while. I did not never left the U.S., but I just traveled around in the United States, different duty stations. That was a fun experience. I think the military is cool.
Yeah. What was your favorite station? Duty station?
My favorite station probably was Luke Air Force Base, which is Phoenix. It's
Ah,
outside of
Phoenix is a great place. I heard. Yeah, it's a fun place. I
yeah.
went there last year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so Phoenix is really cool, and at the time it was an F-16 training base, so we trained all the F-16 pilots in the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, and we had pilots that would come from like South Korea and abroad to learn how to fly. So it was very busy. We got a lot of time on the instruments, a lot of time on the aircraft, and I just saw a lot of stuff that a lot of people, if you're at a smaller base, less busy base, you don't get to do. So that was a cool experience for me. So we have that in common. We're both vets, and
Okay.
after that, basically been in the West Coast of the U.S. most of my life. Um, After that, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, and out here, I've been a contractor. I've been a writer. I've been briefly a dating coach. I've done some of
All
everything,
the things. Yeah. Jack of
and
all trades.
yeah, jack of all trades. And recently, I've been in the car wash industry, so I've been working at a car wash for the last 8 weeks.
Yeah, you've been dropping a lot of lessons about the difference between running your own business and working for someone else. And it like I feel like, you know, there are people that like really romanticize running your own business and which is fine, right? But like also it's not like all fun. It's not all fun. It's very stressful, and you're depending on yourself for your income. You're incurring all the risk. So yeah, you got really good
Yeah.
insights, guys. If you're out to following, and a lot of good insights on different topics, and yeah. So okay, so um, for so you got out the Air Force. So you did you just start contracting straight out of the Air Force, or being a contractor straight out of the Air Force, or what? Were you? How did you pick that up, or were you always like a handyman, kind of like?
Yeah. So my background is that my dad is a licensed electrician, or he's retired now, but he was a licensed electrician when he worked. He owned a contracting company, and then my
Mm,
stepfather is a carpenter, and was a carpenter and remodeler. I'm 40. My parents are retired.
yeah,
Um, and then my grandfather owned real estate rental properties, so we were always doing something, right? Like go
yeah,
replace
yeah.
this ceiling fan, this garbage disposal, this pull up this carpet when the tenant moves. So I did have a good background in just understanding like how a house works, how construction works. When I got
Okay,
out of the Air Force, I used the GI Bill to go to an electrical apprenticeship. So I did a 4-year electrical apprenticeship in the IBW, and that was my introduction to like big commercial projects. Like I was in Las Vegas at that time working on big casino towers, 40 stories, things like that. Like I worked at the Aria, the Cosmopolitan on the Las Vegas Strip when they were being built. It was a while ago.
okay,
So I did that. Worked as an electrician out in Vegas. Came out to Salt Lake City. You know what? I came out here. I was living in Vegas, and I came out here with a girl that I was dating. She's like, "Oh, you want to go snowboarding in Salt Lake City over?" I was like President's Day weekend or MLK weekend. I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
hmm.
And I came out here and I loved it. It's just beautiful. The air is so clean most of the time. It's just so pretty.
That's
It's
what
so
I've heard.
crisp.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
heard the
wholesome.
air.
It's a beautiful place, and I just have been real happy here. So I've been to Salt Lake for that time, and yeah, I worked commercially. What I found on the construction side is people will post these delusional takes. Oh, you can make $300,000 a year as a plumber, as
Hmm.
this, as that. You can, but you have to own the business to do it. That's mine. I have never in my life of being a licensed electrician and a licensed contractor met somebody who made $300,000 a year as a plumber unless they
Hmm.
own the business. So it is possible. And what people need to put an asterisk in this tweet. That's why I try to like fact check people with their assumptions and things that people regurgitate just to sound cool, is that you
Yeah,
have worked your ass off to make that $200,000, $300,000, and
yeah.
not
It's
just
not
physically, but the stress, the mental strain, and
physical strain too. Yeah.
yeah. Here's the thing: the physical strain is first. So your back hurts. I actually posted this about this a little here and there. I started drinking a little bit more. I would get stressed out. Like there's a lot going on. There's a lot that could go wrong. You can make some money for sure, but nothing's free in life. You're gonna work for that money, and I
Yeah.
know people who've done very well in construction for sure.
Yeah, I feel like people it's a talking point where people say, "Hey, don't go to college, go be a plumber or electrician," which it's not the worst advice, but like understand the asterisk, right? Where like if you're those jobs, you might have to be you're working a lot to make that six figures. Obviously, a 22-year-old doing that would be good. You have a fresh body, you're out there. You're probably not going to earn that much money, but you're gonna be financially ahead than someone who went to college, but still it will take a toll on you. It's not easy work all the time, you
Exactly,
know.
exactly. I would want to talk to people and say if you're going to do a trade, I definitely recommend it because I went to college a little bit before joining the military, and then after that they paid for my trade school and stuff like that.
Mhm,
I bought a house before my friends that stayed in college. I don't have student loans. I didn't have student loans into my 30s,
mhm,
like a lot of people do. But it's pros and cons.
mhm.
So for
There's
the right
the
person, it works. But if you got to have a way to get out, that's what I guess what I'd say.
there it is. Yeah, you have to
Go
wait.
into
So
a
if
plan to get out, to own the company or transfer it into something else or make a content business out of it or something.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest part because physical jobs they wear you out and you're stressed and you can if your hand or your arm or your back hurts that day, you might not be able to work. um so yeah, I think just people need to be going it with kind of like a level-headed approach, instead of putting all their eggs in one basket.
For
All
sure.
right, so then you became a dating coach. I've been watching your videos. I saw a couple of your videos. um Guys, go follow Chance on YouTube. What's your YouTube handle? I forgot.
I think it's just Chance Berryman.
Yeah, Yeah, I just search Chance Berryman on YouTube, and you'll find him. So go follow him if you haven't already for some different side of takes. So the space, I call it the space now because I don't even know what to call it. I don't believe that there's a manosphere anymore. I think it's too wild and crazy and wily right now. It's basically manosphere is being used to just so the mainstream media and all these like talking points like Dr. Phil or Fox News are used so they can judge us by the worst members of an organization, right? But the truth is, like, I have nothing to do with like anyone that posts on Twitter like that. They don't represent me. Like, I'm my own person, so I just call it the space or whatever. Um, where was I going with this? So as time goes on, I've noticed that like um dating has become, for me, I'm gonna say it, this is my perspective, about 10% harder every year.
Yeah,
When I say harder, like you start noticing that women are becoming a little bit more flaky, the bad behaviors. You start noticing that when you're in a relationship with a girl, like there's just less effort to keep you, even though she'll love you, but there's just that thing where you're like, I'm not sure I'll be better off with this girl than I'd be single. Like I don't see like this isn't adding, it's not subtracting, but it's not adding anything to my life. So I've noticed, but it's very gradual. I don't think it's as bad as what people say, that like the world's going to end tomorrow, right? But it is getting more difficult. So some guys, as men, we're like pragmatists, and we try to get ahead of like I would say a higher IQ or more aware people try to get ahead of problems and try to inject a lot of pragmatism into their problems. So you've decided to delve into the world of sugar dating, as I've seen on your channel, and I know we talked about this on Twitter, and I've been curious about it, and I just like learning all the sides of dating and all that stuff. So when did you realize, like, hey, maybe sugar dating is what for me, and was it something that you kept secret to yourself, or was it something that you were just like, let me like, how did you get started?
cool, cool. That's a good question. So I guess I'll just back up slightly a little bit, and I'll
Okay.
agree with your point that I feel like dating has gotten harder from when, I mean, I've been around a long time, but I feel like dating does get like exponentially harder. And if I think about it in 5 year increments, like 5 years
5 years.
in terms of dating, like just my personal experiences with women, like every 5 years, it's just like a completely different world almost. Just the way that you interact, things that work, things that didn't work, in my opinion or my experience, changed exponentially. So my experience with sugar dating is that I got out of a long relationship, and I had to do this whole like metamorphosis, rebuild myself to figure out how to interact with women. Because I got into
Mhm.
the relationship with a woman who was 23 when I was like 30, and she just loved me. She just showed up on the doorstep basically and just was like, "Hey, I want to be your girlfriend. Let's be together." Da, da, da. And we
Easy,
were
like
together for 4
fairy
years.
tale. Yeah.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was amazing, and I knew how good I had it, but looking back now, I really had no idea how good I had it.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
graduated from college like the couple months before I met her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was in like 2013, and it's right before, as we were together, Tinder came out, like Instagram became sort of more popular. And I say all that
Mhm.
to say is that like in that 4 year period, just like how we met, we basically met at somebody's backyard. Like my friend threw a kickback, we started talking, and then we were just together from that point on, basically. That doesn't really happen anymore. Maybe it does. I don't hear about it. But because of Tinder and Instagram and things like that, it's like the women that everybody knows this, the men that are in front of women are not the only men that they can have access to. Basically, they have way more options than the guys that they meet at their best friend's backyard,
Correct. Yeah, correct.
and they act like it. they act like
Yeah.
it. And they act like it. So I might have been the best option for that girl at that time because I'm just chilling in the backyard having some drinks and playing whatever cornhole with some people and she thought I was cute. But anymore, it's much harder to get that out girls like that's attention just because of the amount of options. Like everybody knows that experience that if you've been in an ice cream store that has 100 flavors, it's hard to choose just one, right?
Yeah, because there's like vanilla, and then there's like vanilla light, and then there's like sherbet, and
Almond,
then
French almonds, da,
strawberry.
da, da,
Yeah.
da.
You're like, which version of strawberry almond sherbet light do I want? Yeah.
So what you do is you try them all, right? Like
Yeah. 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 You sample them all and see which one you like the
you
best.
sample them all, and in my opinion, I feel like women are doing that. So that's kind of
Mhm.
just like the backstory to say is like dating traditionally, boy meets girl, holding hands in the park. I mean, I guess I hear about it. I do see people in relationships when I go outside or go to Target, go here, go there. I see people
Mhm.
coupled up, but then I don't know. I feel like it's even though I see it, it's something like I see or hear about more than I experience in my own life or with my friends or people that I'm in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
So then I decided, well, I just need a different way to interact with women than 100 approaches, swiping constantly. And listen, I can approach. I'm not the best looking like Idris Elba looking like guy, but I'm not
Yeah,
ugly.
it's not
Like
that
I
it's
can
not that
approach
hard
women.
to start a conversation with a human being. It's not that crazy difficult,
Yeah,
you know.
I can approach women. I can talk to women. I get matches on dating apps. It's not that
Mm.
that is that hard. It's that it was an inefficient use of my time, especially when I was running a business. I don't have time. Running a business is stressful. Is it fun? Can you make some money? Is it cool to be your own boss? Have your name on the truck and the website? Yes.
Highs and lows,
Um,
yeah.
but I definitely didn't have the mental capacity to just be like, okay, I'm gonna approach this many women. I'm gonna swipe this many dead end conversations. That's why sugar dating is actually a very good strategy for men that are either in a very demanding career or own your own business.
Slammed, yeah.
You don't have the time. You could not possibly find the time. And how much does it cost if you did to be swiping on dating apps?
And
Having
dealing with
meaningless
flakiness.
conversations. A lot of them go nowhere. I'll speak for myself. I mean, even if I match and we have like 2 or 3 cute messages, half of my matches don't go anywhere. We never end up like meeting in person. More than half, 80% probably don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So sugar dating was a faster way to get to the point that I needed to get to when money was like easier to come by than time.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of like people that are super busy. Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong. So what I've heard, I don't know where I heard this from. Maybe it was oh man, maybe it was Torsh's channel. I think I tuned into Torsh's video, and she said that a lot of the men that do sugar dating, whatever type of sugar dating there is, it's just they're very busy. They're just completely busy. They're running one or two businesses, or you know, it's just they have a lifestyle where they're like they don't have time to like entertain, you know, a 23-year-old girl's messages twice, yeah, they don't have time for that. They're slammed, but they also want female company, or they need a date for an event or something like that, or they just yeah, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I could definitely see why, men, busy men with businesses, men with, just a part of their life where they don't have time to open an app and just swipe for 2 hours or an hour.
yeah, I've said this before in some of my videos, and I've written about it on the blog. Is that according to an article that I read, the average millennial was spending 10 hours a week on dating apps when that
Jesus
article was
Christ.
written. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a lot of time that you just don't have if you're worried about contracts, contacting clients, doing this, following up, all the stuff that you have to do if you're really busy and if you have the time to make up, or you have the money to make up for the time. So I guess people say like attention, time, and money are the currencies that you need to deal with women.
Hmm.
And really, it's just about what are you going to adjust one or the other based on what your resources are, right? If you don't have as much time, maybe you spend a little bit more money to get the outcome that you want. If you don't have as much money, maybe you're going to lavish her with time and walk in the park and hold hands and swipe and whatever all the stuff that you need to do. So
Yeah.
that's how I got into that. You asked me, did I hide that from anybody? I didn't. I'm pretty open as a person.
Yeah.
I don't know why I would. I didn't feel ashamed about it, probably because I don't have. I think the reason why I didn't feel ashamed about it is because in my personal life, people that know me, maybe not so much on Twitter, but people that read my blog and follow me know that I didn't struggle with meeting women like to where I couldn't meet women before.
Hmm.
They might not have been the best kind of women that I wanted, but they were, girls like me, whatever.
You
Sometimes
had
they were pretty
social
good.
skills. Yeah, you had social skills. You weren't like awkward or anything like that. Like you were calibrated basically.
To the best of my ability. I could
Yeah.
always get better and always improve, but working with what I had, the lifestyle I was given, the height, weight, body type, skin color, body, genetics that I was given, I did all
Hmm.
right. So I didn't really feel like I needed to prove anything. And to me, it was just basically a very calculated decision. I don't have time to do this, and I want to meet these more attractive women, and this is easy, easier. Sugar dating is not like, so I've sugar dated, and I've actually also just seen sex workers like companions, where it's much more business-like is not the right word, but much more cut and dry. Whereas sugar dating, I feel like, at least the way
Okay.
I've done it, whether I talk about it on my channel, is that it is sort of a blend of dating and a little bit more of a companionship angle. I would say, I've heard somebody say this, and I think people who are sugar babies would have a problem with this, but I've heard somebody say that dating a sugar baby is sort of like having a companion or a sex worker on a retainer. A lot of sugar babies don't see themselves as sex workers, so I
Okay.
want to be gentle with using that word. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, so it was the point. I feel like as a man, you need human beings need human companionship. You have to be touched. You have to be intimate with somebody, not just like inside of them, but talking to them, having them care about
Someone
you.
has to check on you once in a while, hit you up. Yeah.
You're not a person unless you're interacting with other people because you don't really exist, right? Unless somebody's
Hmm.
like, "Hey, how was your day? How you know?" What do they say?
Something.
You're nobody until somebody loves you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a man, I just found like I needed companionship and I wanted a way to have the experiences that I wanted to have. That's another thing as well. Like I was 38, 39, 40. I wanted to be having these experiences because I was working. So I wanted to go to these nice restaurants and wear my nice watch and put on my clothes. And I wanted a bombshell next to me when I walk into this place, that I probably couldn't afford to eat at 5 years ago, or going to
Yeah.
four-star restaurants and things like that that I was just barely being able to afford. I wanted it to be a whole experience, walking to this place. I got this gorgeous model with me. We stride in, da da da, get a bottle of wine, have the Kobe, all this stuff, go upstairs to the hotel and it's beautiful. Like I just wanted to have experiences since I was working and making money, and I was, the dreams, the fantasies that probably everybody has.
Okay. So yeah, it's interesting that you say you didn't hide it because I feel like you just had nothing to prove to anyone. This is you, like um and that's really interesting because I feel like a lot of guys who decide to sugar date or what have you, they're not they feel like they have to hide it because it's like they feel like they failed with women and they have to hide it. And obviously, on another point, the men that don't sugar date or something like that are also constantly like blaming they're blaming men that do for the downfall of society or something like that, just like they blame players for the downfall of society, or just like they blame the clueless fathers for the downfall of society. Is like, look man, like we can point fingers all day, but at the end of the day, like I think ultimately it's just technology. Like I don't think anyone asked for it to be rejected so many times, and women's innate bad behavior, um because of their endless options, right? um but yeah, at the end of the day, like it's interesting that you just own it, and I think that's very important. So I say, like, whatever you use or whatever you do in life, you just gotta own it. You can't um be embarrassed, and that's obviously don't if you're at a company party and you're just meeting someone very important, don't drop it in the beginning, first
Yeah,
thing, like, hey, I
yeah,
bought
yeah,
this girl
yeah.
yesterday, like, or I paid her this much and she's with me. Like, obviously be calibrated with it, right?
Yeah,
But
don't do that. Don't
yeah,
do that.
if I ever got curious, and which I'm sugar dating is not for me because I have like, unlike you, I have a huge ego and I should probably work on that. um
No,
but
don't, dude. There's no such
yeah,
thing as should.
yeah, but I would say that I would just own it, like I'm like, I made a decision. I'm not gonna throw it in anyone's face, but if someone asks me, I'm gonna be like, yeah, and so yeah. So do you know anyone else that does this in your circle, your personal life, friends, family? Obviously, no names or associations, but do you know
Yeah.
anyone else, or is this something that you're on, like, your own thing? Like, do you know anyone that does this besides you?
Yeah, I have a close friend of mine who tried it because I was doing it. So I was talking about it, and
Hmm.
you remember, because you and I have been connected for a while. You remember
Hmm.
that I was dating this one girl. She was Dominican as well,
Oh yeah.
and she and I were dating for a while, a couple of months or whatever like that.
Hmm.
So I was talking to my good friend about this girl, and the thing I want to point out too, and as we talk about misconceptions, is it's not just a business relationship. Like as you spend time with this person, you start to become a part of each other's lives, and it is a real relationship, but there's just this other thing attached to it. I wonder how I can explain that very well. But she was a part of my life. She was coming over, hanging out with me, the dog, going to breakfast. I replaced this thing on her car. And I was talking to my friend about it. So he just was curious. And he's like, well, I want to try it too. And he tried it out just to be out of curiosity because I was talking about it so much, right?
Hmm.
But he's the only other person that I know in my real life besides my clients. So I also coached. I can do it still, but I was coaching more guys that were just curious about sugar dating because nobody was talking about it. Because
Hmm.
like you said, a lot of people are ashamed or feel embarrassed about it. When I just if you're a guy who can afford it, why not? That's how I feel about it. If you can afford
Yeah.
it, why not? And it's not going to fix your. I say this in all my videos. Sugar dating is not going to fix your problems with women. If you can't attract women, that's an almost separate thing.
Hmm.
But if you
You
can, you
still,
just want to make sure. What's that?
yeah, I think from what I get from what you say, it's like regardless, you're not paying for you're just paying for her to be in front of you. That's yeah, like the rest you still have to show up and be charming and masculine and all that stuff, or at least socially
That's my
calibrated.
experience. You're
Yeah,
just making that funnel smaller instead of like the big funnel. Like I have an active Hinge profile right now. I get bored with it because it's not as to me it's not as much fun, but I do use it sometimes. But instead of
yeah.
the funnel being like everybody in my city, the funnel is there's some unattractive, less attractive women on sugar dating sites as they get more popular. But the
Oh
funnel
yeah.
is a higher
So
concentration
I've
of
guessed.
younger. What's that?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the because everyone wants it's hoflation. Everyone wants to get in on the yeah.
Yeah. In the like 2.5 years that I've been doing it, I've noticed it. I mean, when I first went onto my first sugar dating site, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It was such a mind blowing experience because 90% of the women were like young, very attractive, like model quality. Like when I say very attractive, I mean like mid 20s, highest 28, 29,
Hmm.
amazing bodies, thin, dressed, glammed up, da 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 da. And then they message you first. This is the other thing too. Guys should try this just to experience it because we don't understand, or I didn't understand that women can go after what they want when they want you. When they
Yeah.
want you for whatever reason, they can make that very, very clear. So when I signed up to the sugar daddy site, put pictures up, and one of the life hacks is that I'm not very old yet. I mean, I'm 40. That's kind of old, but
I mean, black
I'm
don't
not like
crack, right?
65.
You look 30, man. Like, yeah, you could
I
easily
appreciate you
pass this
saying
30.
that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of gray. I guess it's not coming up in the beard yet, but it's
Yeah.
got grays popping up
You look
everywhere.
really young, so yeah, you probably had that huge advantage over all the older men. Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. But yeah, I got that a lot. Like, why are you on here? What, oh my god. Da, da, da.
Hmm.
But when you see when you have beautiful women messaging you, just the experience of that, you're like, wow, this is crazy. Like hitting you up, hitting you double texting you because they're like, well, what happened? Where'd you go? I just was inundated with all this female attention. Um,
Yeah.
and it was just an experience to have that made it worth it to me just to understand that because the opposite of that is what happens on dating apps. My previous experience was like hitting a girl, hey, how's it going? Wait a few days. Oh, you up? Any plans for the weekend? And then the shoe was on the other foot, and it felt really good.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I totally like the thing is too, man, and I might drop a video on this. Like the outcome independence is important when you date, right? But at the same time, the number one thing, especially if a younger guy, obviously young guys probably won't be the demographic that wants to sugar date because they don't have as much resources, money, and they
yeah,
also have young guys tend to be more egotistical. Life hasn't beaten them up yet. They still their confidence a lot of it is wrapped up in the amount and the type of women they can get, which is
I think that's good.
understandable.
That's a point in life. I was there.
Yeah,
I'm just not there right now.
yeah, every man should go through that phase, right? And then they get crushed by a relationship, whatever. Obviously we don't want that to happen, but it does. Um, and uh, where was I going with this? So I feel like a lot of dating, what it is today, is training. It's a lot of like you calibrating yourself because one of the biggest problems with dating in the modern age, right, is that things are changing really fast. Like things are accelerating, and then women have a huge advantage, at least in the short term, for getting the things they want out of men, right? So you have to be like if you're hitting the dating scene, right? I just saw a tweet that like, oh, there's guys spend years and hours reading books on the red pill and dating or whatever, what have you. Um, Pimpology, whatever book you want to read, right? Just so they can, just so they can learn what my dad told me when I was 7. I'm like, man, my dad was kind of a womanizer. He was, he was a ladies' man, but none of his advice
Is
it would
relevant
hold
right now.
nothing besides like the basic like kino like he would tell me like when you're on a date touch your leg and then pull back like the basic that kind of basic stuff, but no one's going to tell you how to make a profile on a your father's not going to teach you how to make a social media profile. Your father's not going to teach you how to keep yourself from being fired at work for saying inappropriate things.
When you
Your
find out if the
father,
girl has an OnlyFans, like
yeah,
none of that is relevant. I
yeah,
saw
and
that tweet too, and that was bullshit.
yeah, and and I was like, I mean, yeah, of course, like the basic. social calibration face to face with your woman, your father absolutely can help you with that because your father, that he taught your father at least talked to one woman, which is your mom. So he,
Yeah, if he's around, a lot of guys don't have dads or don't have good
right,
relationships with their dads.
or at least an uncle or a grandfather, some masculine presence, right? But the thing is, like, every time I've explained, not even through red pill lens, just like normal, like, hey, like my dad doesn't understand, my mom and dad don't understand why I'm single. Obviously, it's my choice. I've had opportunities to settle down, but it's just the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, or I just wasn't in, I just found out that, hey, this isn't for me at the moment. Um, and I try to tell him from a financial perspective, like, dad, um, like when you there are times where I find a girl, like my last girlfriend, she was great, great gal. Like I still have very fond memories of her. Um, and my dad has this thing, like a lot of old order thinking, like since girls make money now, that they're gonna contribute. Like it's like a not like 50-50, but they're like he always said, man, I wish your mom worked more or had a job, so because he thinks that like women are just gonna hand you the money or hand you their paycheck, right? And I dated this girl, and she was not like, she had a normal federal job, and I think she paid for my coffee twice in 6 months, like for a coffee twice. She said she even told me I'm not doing this whole egalitarian. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need you to do that, right? But it's
Yeah,
just our parents don't understand how innate female behavior is, and then what happens is they cannot bridge the gap in between how they interacted with the opposite sex and us. So it's just this area where we're always going to be talking past each other. So yeah, I believe that we just got to do what we got to, like, adapt. And part when you're out in the dating game, um and you have to keep yourself really calibrated. No, even being 2 months out of the dating, 3 months, and you come back, you're gonna feel a little bit out of touch, just because the social skills that you need. Oh, like, yeah, like I stopped going to salsa for 5 months, and then I started going back, and I'm like, I need to get some fresh air. I've been online too much, been working too much, so I went and I had a blast, right? And I saw
100%.
I'm not gonna say gorgeous, but I saw a girl, and we saw each other, and she gave me the eyes, like, "Hey, stupid, come dance with me. I'm giving you the eyes," which I'm really calibrated to know what they are. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, well, let me grab my margarita. Let me say hi to everyone. Social proof. Let me dap up the DJ. Let me joke around with somebody. Let me talk to the bartender. Let her know, like, hey, I'm this is my spot,
yeah,
right? Um, but the whole night she was not left alone for 1 second. This girl was not gorgeous. She was just thin, feminine, sundress, like, and she gave you that vibe. Like you said, femininity, when you experience femininity, is like breathing after holding your breath for like a minute.
yeah.
You're
That's
like,
so rare.
yeah,
The
and
things
it's
that
and
you
it's
said,
so
thin,
rare.
wearing a sundress, feminine.
Yeah. And she didn't her body wasn't anything special. Like, I couldn't even tell what her body looked like because she had a dress. And then, like, you have the BBL Latinas floating around, trying to, like, drinking and acting crazy, and no one really wanted to dance with them. But there was a line, and I just, like, every time there was a new song, I would look over to see if she was, like, alone or checking her phone. Not once. She was
Never, never,
never. And it's
never.
just like, now I need to go find a way to, I need to go talk to some PUA, or I got to go look at some content on YouTube on how to pull a girl away from a group of guys, or how to, like, you know, not because I shouldn't have done it, but because I have to, you know, that part of approaching women isn't something that men we're innately learn. You don't learn that from anywhere. Like, we're supposed to be terrified of men that are mate guarding their women,
Yeah,
and
that's
obviously,
true. That's actually true. You're
yeah,
wired for that,
yeah. So
for survival.
right, so not that I hesitated, but I'm like, I have to wait till the time's right. I can't, while she's talking to a guy, pu- pull her away. I mean, I could, right, but it's just like, it's something that you need a little bit of training. So when, like, part of sugar dating, like you said, to bring it home, is that men need to experience things so they can open their mind and realize what what it feels like. Just like Patrice O'Neill, the comedian, he went to Brazil and he would mess around with hookers, and then he realized, he had his epiphany where he said, "Holy crap, these women are feminine. They're nice. They're friendly. Obviously, I'm paying them for sex, but, like, I've like being treated like a man should be treated. And then he goes back and he brings that mindset, like that new like
Yeah.
perspective. And then he said, I'm gonna get treated like this no matter what. Even if I had to call American women bitches or like have iron frame and be kind of mean, I will get that treatment. And that's the thing. It's like when you rent a Lambo and you drive the Lambo, you're like, I need this car now, you know?
I like that analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like you're like, I need a Lambo to be happy, but you're just like, so, man, just having the taste of something that you want, you know. And that's why I kind of like see the guys that do sugar day, and I kind of understand it because um part, you know, like you experience a beautiful woman going out with a beautiful woman, and I think it, first of all, it demystifies the beautiful woman a little bit.
Amazing. She's just a girl. She's actually
Yeah,
more insecure than
yeah,
fives and sixes.
yeah. um and also, like, you see how people change when you have a gorgeous girl around you. And obviously, I am sure that you and me and other guys can get a gorgeous girl. Obviously, it's going to take a lot more work, patience, and you have to be, you know, and timing, and you just have to be the right place at the right time and all that stuff, logistics, right? A whole bunch of work,
Yeah.
right? 10 times the work, right? But if
Exponentially times the work
yeah,
because you have to get lucky. Well, I'll speak for myself. I would have to get lucky enough to just be right place at the right time. Da, da, da. Not to take away your point, but I feel like it's
mhm,
exponentially higher than 10
yeah, well, like a
for
hundred
me.
times harder.
I'll speak for myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just arbitrary number, but extremely hard, much harder, and but it's rewarding if it happens. It's very rewarding. But the fact, there's a lot of guys that that's not even, that they're terrified of beautiful women. Like they can't even, like they don't, they talk themselves into a hole around them. They have no, you know, and that's why the passport bros things is kind of blowing up now, because obviously guys want more feminine, better women, or you know, whatever spectrum of that argument you want to be on. But I would say too that a lot of guys are experiencing, when they go to Latin America or Eastern Europe for the first time, a quiet, chill, beautiful girl for the first time, and then it like blows their mind. Like they cannot.
Yeah.
It absolutely blows their mind. And the thing is too, I lived in Puerto Rico, and I grew up half my childhood in Puerto Rico, and I went to college there for a
Yeah.
while.
You have some good stories about that too.
Yeah, and I have a lot of like good stories and perspective about the dynamics of being around. And a lot of people, and here's an interesting thing. A lot of people say that what's gonna fix the West or the dating game or whatever is gonna be God, a war, and everything. You know, the number one thing that would fix it, which will never happen, but that will fix it, is everyone being fit and in shape.
Oh
Because
wow.
yeah, because in
I've
Puerto
never
Rico,
heard that. I love that, but that's yeah, that's
it,
not.
I promise you, because in Puerto Rico is a Catholic island. It's a Catholic country, right? Obviously, it's a Commonwealth of the United States, but for argument's sake, it's a country, right? And it's pretty Catholic, right? And you know, there's still people that go to church and stuff like that, right? Um, but right now, you know, it's woke just like any other place. But I will say, w- dating, you know, I was in college. I didn't really date. I was kind of a dork, but you know, I still had fun. Um, and my friends who were dating girls, you know what kept those girls like super on their boyfriends? Because we were just college kids, and these girls were like
Yeah.
eights out of tens. We obviously social media we didn't know, but looking back and looking at the old pictures of my university, I'm like, man, like I had a 7 out of 10 girl hit me up on, you know, without, she found my number through somebody and texted me, and I was just a scrawny 135-pound dude, you know, like I was nobody.
It's hard. You
But
got to post some of those college photos because I don't wish I
yeah,
was
yeah,
living.
yeah. And these are, and then here's also there's a lot of things that blow your mind when you experience a different type of women outside the United States or outside of the normal dating, whether it be sugar dating, passport bros, or whatever. And I think the biggest goal for guys that want to do that is just get your perspective shift. Get your like, you know, not your eureka moment, but get your perspective shift. Because um when I was, you know, hanging out with my friends, the girls were obsessed with being around my friends. These girls are gorgeous, but they were obsessed with my friends. And the number one thing is that if they let up even a little bit, if they let their man let, you know, like messed up even a little bit,
There'll
there's
be
like
another girl.
80% of women were gorgeous, or were like at least above a six, right? Six and above, right? You know, and the women there are aggressive too. So like if they like a guy, they're like, I like the guy and I'm going after him. I gotta find out who he's talking to and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like that was the perspective I came into the dating market to the United States. So
Oh, so what was that like?
and that's
That must have been wild.
it was at first it was extremely disappointing. I had a lot of trouble like dealing with American women's like kind of like first of all I thought it was cool like oh these women are kind of different, they look more fun and they're more because Puerto Rican women are more closed. I mean they're equally as horny and fun, but like they're more like they want a more formal relationship, or at least back in the day. Before they don't do like one night stands isn't really a big thing in Puerto Rico, maybe it is now, but in 2007 2008 one night stands like you had to like talk for like a week or two before you start hooking up, and when you start hooking up like usually you're like in a relationship. It was very monogamous, and there was cheating, but
Yeah, we're human.
yeah, but you know, and that was the perspective. And I imagine like sugar dating for guys, they'll probably be like, let's say it's the type of person that's like, I'm busy, or I want to go to the event with, I want to go to an event with a pretty girl, and I'm gonna pay this girl to go to this event with me. And you're like, okay, and then you go to an event, and all of a sudden your boss treats you better that you see there. All of a
Yeah.
sudden your
Everybody treats
coworker,
you better when you're with a pretty girl.
yeah, and then your
Because they want to know like how'd
coworkers,
you get her? So something must be special about you, right? Like
yeah, yeah. Your coworkers that like you now like you even more. Your coworkers that hate you even more. Um, the female coworkers probably treat you better because now they're like, or maybe now they start treating you way a little too good. And then you see how human beings act when you have this kind of like this girl next to you, and I think that would teach a guy a lot of lessons. Now if you want to continue doing that, that's on the individual man, right? But I think that like just like passport bros or anything where you experience beautiful women, whether it be because you're American or you're exotic or you have money or whatever, it doesn't matter, but you experience that presence with them, with you, next to you. You just that perspective shift is invaluable, because
I agree.
yeah,
Definitely agree.
yeah. And to take it home, I the way I see it is like a lot of American men put up with a lot of female like BS, and I don't mean BS like women being women, because women are women at all parts of the world. They love to
Yeah.
shop, they get emotional, they fight for no reason, all that stuff, right? That's
They're
all over the world.
manipulative. Like I lived in Asian countries. Those women are manipulative. Yes, they're sweet
Yeah,
and diminutive. They know how to play the game, but you're lying to yourself if you don't think a woman is a woman is a woman. In my
yeah,
opinion.
exactly. It's the same, which that's why we like them. That why would you want a
Yeah.
woman not to be a woman? It's like it wouldn't compliment you as a man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, um, when I was like, especially when I was joining the military, I was amazed at how many times I'd be talking to someone and I got cut off by somebody, and it was usually women. Like women didn't have a lot of manners. They would butt into my conversations.
That's
They
true.
would, yeah, they were like very like I couldn't handle women insulting me. Um, and that's because that in Puerto Rico they don't do that. So I was like, why is this girl giving me a hard time? I don't like her. She doesn't like me. I don't know her barely, and
But
I'm
they'll
just
fuck
here.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like it wasn't like I was mad. I'm just like, because in Puerto Rico everyone's very socially calibrated. We're all on the same page. So it's like when someone does that, I immediately take it as a threat. Like this person hates my guts, and I got to stay away from them. So I had a lot of trouble like calibrating to the. And now now I'm fine, but it's just yeah. I think that perspective shift. So, what was your perspective shifts when let's say like I don't know, you started sugar dating. What are things that you learned that you didn't expect to learn?
Cool. That's another good question. Probably the main thing that I learned. Maybe this sounds ironic because we just talked about like your ego and dating is that I learned that like I can attract very very beautiful women. I can get her to where when we're together, I know she wants me. Like she's very wet. She's initiating sex. She's texting me. She's I can get it to where it's like, oh hey, how's it going? And then I show her I'm not just one of these regular guys on these dating apps or like these sugar dating apps. Like
Mhm.
I can talk to you. I can hold conversation. I can pull back and let you talk. I can ask the right questions. I can listen and make her feel all the things. It's all the same. So I say this a lot in Twitter. All the same things that work on any woman work no matter how you met her or what she's doing there. If you smell good, look good, she likes you, you have eye contact, you're a little playful, you can challenge her and tease her, all the stuff, that's going to raise any woman's attraction level. It doesn't matter what app you met her on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was honestly, that was super empowering for me because I was like, I'm the fucking, I did feel like that. I was like, bro, I got this like freaking 25-year-old model like double texting me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was in the context of a sugar relationship, but she doesn't have to text me. She doesn't have to. I feel like if you're a person who's alive and social in the world, unfortunately, I never had, or fortunately, I never had one of these like cut and dry. Okay, I give her $500 and then she just lays there like a starfish. And like, it was always just like chilling with somebody, and I was helping her just get like photos for her modeling or this or that for the cat got sick. And it honestly felt like one of the most genuine relationships I've ever been in, except for that one girl that I was super in love with that I always talk about. Because the attraction was real. To me, it felt real. Women can't really fake attraction. Either she's responding to you in a certain way or she's not.
Yeah. I think a lot of the a part of that is that she saw that you were like actually attractive man, and that you had social skills and were calibrated. And she was, she's probably used to using, like, I think part of the reason they charge it is they hate being around men with no social skills or no what do the young people call it these days, riz, or like just calibration. They're just like, well, it's like work to them being around men like that. It's like literal work. Yeah.
And she could have fun with me, and there was a couple that I really liked that I dated for a while, but it was empowering. I would use the word empowering because it was like, bro, like I am actually, this is not true, but I felt like I am actually charming. I am actually good looking. I am actually all these things. I can attract a woman like this. It's just I'm not meeting them because of dating apps and just the way that they work.
Yeah, and there's another lesson, like access. Like I would say, it's all about access. Like everyone wants young girls, but like the only way people can see young girls is by dating apps, right? But sometimes all you need is just access, and you're gonna find that young girls love you, or or a certain demographic, right? You don't have to travel all the way to Japan if you want Asian women, or to you can just go to where or there's an Asian community in your city and just hit the boba shops or hit the and get cool with people, and and then I don't know, there's ways around this, and that's what's missing, and that's what I want to bring. Like I'm tired of like red meat and arguments. I just one of the reasons I have you on is because like I just want to learn, and like we need to path forward and figure this shit out.
I love that.
So discuss to me like the process meeting the girl, or like seeing the girl on your phone or on the website, all the way to, I'm not gonna ask you about intimacy, that's personal, right? But all the way to, I don't know, like the comfort where you feel like you have some type of relationship, like, and I'm not saying like boyfriend girlfriend, but like you have that comfort, like you understand and know each other and stuff like that. So walk me through beginning to end.
Yeah, no problem.
The process.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do that. So a lot of it is going to be similar to any app that you meet people on. It's just you want to choose your best pictures. And I actually have, if anybody's interested, you can contact me on Twitter, or probably Twitter would be the best way. DM me if you have Twitter. And I have a PDF guide that I just give you for free. I was going to sell this guy, and then I decided I just got bored with it. But you want to choose your best pictures. You want to create this, the lifestyle. Women, when they're on dating apps, are looking for a lifestyle, especially on Sugar Daddy Meet and these types of apps. They don't necessarily care if you have abs or this or that. It's nice to look good, but they want to see, can you show them something cool? So some of my pictures were like we have a rooftop spa at a hotel at a ski resort here. It's actually quite pricey to get into this hotel, but a lot of people know about it. So I have a picture of me there, with my, like in a big ass spa robe, some pictures of me on vacation on boats and this and that, just showing a lifestyle. Like, and I'm basically saying is she's picturing, basically when a man looks at dating apps, you're looking at like, do you want to be with that girl sexually, or are you attracted to her? But the woman is most of the time looking at, could I see myself in that picture with him? Can he,
How do I fit in here?
Yeah, that's what I think. So I try to show a nice lifestyle. Not that I have a ton of money, but I've been to some cool places. I thought a pretty interesting life. And then I just send a message, or a lot of times the girls will message me. So they messaged me, and honestly, I started to understand why girls don't message you back because it was so much. It was like I would open and get like 10 messages a day, and I can't respond to everybody. So I was like, oh, this is how girls feel, and it's more for them, even on non-sugar apps.
Yeah,
What a
and
message.
yeah, perspective. You understand like I still use online dating now. I'm like more social circle, kind of like getting out there, but it's hard because I'm getting busy. Um, so whenever like work gets light, then I start going out more, and when work gets heavy, I stay in. Um, but what I'm doing right now is I'm interviewing a lot of my like female acquaintances and social circles and talking to them about stuff, because I think a lot of guys on Twitter are have a lot of theories that they make up, whether it be that they're ego invested in, or like they're religious, so they say things something like with religion, and there's nothing wrong with believing in God and having a religion, right? But I'm actually talking to girls and asking them, um, and the way I do it, I'm smart, right? So I'm smart about it. So you don't like, so what I do, I have a girl over. I'm seeing a girl that's like recently divorced, and she's like 27, recently divorced. Good gal, not a crazy looker. She has a curvy body. I like her. Um, and you don't ever ask a girl her body count or how she goes about. Like that's completely stupid,
Yeah, I
uncalibrated.
can't even imagine caring
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
Why would I
but
care? She's not gonna tell you the truth. Number one, and number two, why would I care?
yeah, but I
You
will
can tell
say,
just by being around her, probably.
right, right. But what I do is, once you've had sex with a girl a couple times, you guys, like, it's already like I don't have to, I don't. I can dial the charm back a little bit. She knows my shit. It's whatever. Like I doesn't matter. I had sex. I already won. You can stay if you want, or we can keep doing this. It's up to you, right? But I would ask her the way I go. I'd be like, hey, so um, how do your friends like? What are your friend? What are your friends doing for dating right now? Do they like? Does your friend group? And you'll be surprised how honest they are about how their friends tell you, or how she tells you what her friend. Because women do this thing where they're like, they have no issue throwing their friends under the bus. Like it's like almost automatic. Like they don't. It's so weird. Like you would think that like they would kind of be like, but a lot of times they'll just be like, yeah, she does this, and I learned a lot. And I'm interviewing women about different things, right? And it's interesting because, like, for example, the body count thing, right? Everyone's like, well, women have whole face. Of course they do. They have whole faces, all that stuff, right? But
You can get
here's
married young and have whole faces. There's no, you can't, you're not gonna
yeah,
avoid the whole face.
yeah. Here's what I've heard from two different women, right? For their talking around their friends, right? Um, that what women do, women are hyper aware of body count. Like they have to marry the idea of having a low body count, but also trying to have fun, right? And they know this, right? A lot of women, unless you have like one of the like a crazier slutty girl that's already crossed the
Yes.
Rubicon already, right? But like for normal chicks, what they do is they have one or two guys on standby. A guy that get hit up, that whenever in between relationships,
I've heard
she
that
goes
too.
to yeah, she goes to that guy,
Because it's
and
not
that guy will
another
care.
body.
Yeah, so she doesn't get another body, because even though she'll never be honest with another, she'll never be honest with you about her body count, which is okay, we get it.
Yeah.
She's hyper aware that every body that she gets will make herself feel like a slut, unless she has like really slutty friends. And most girls usually don't have super slutty, like the girls that are on these podcasts where they're like, yeah, I had a gangbang of like 20 dudes, and I'm like, they're
Sometimes
not.
those girls be lying too, just
Yeah,
for
and they
shock
lie.
value as well. I don't watch that shit, but sometimes I'm like, she lying.
Yeah, like that's not even possible. Like some of the things they say, right?
Yeah.
But you see, in that, like, I'm learning and I'm delving into it. But I obviously have not. I never ask a girl directly. Always ask her like her friend, like, hey, what are your friends? Like,
That's
are
very
they
smart.
single? Yeah,
That's very
and they're
smart.
like, because it's like hacking the female brain. I was like, females will never make themselves look bad in front of a man, especially a man that they like. But
She
they're
tell the
willing
shit
to
out of her friends. Like,
trash their friends, and I already heard that from two. And then I hear on the men's side, like, yeah, they always come back. Or I've been seeing a girl every time she's in between relationships, she comes back to me, and I'm like, the two data points are starting to converge. Like, yeah, women have hoe faces, but what they do is they're like, well, okay, I can't fuck a girl, or sorry, I can't fuck a guy every single day. And if I do, I'm gonna like, you know, I can't sustain that for like,
That's a different level of some
yeah,
mentality. Man.
and also like, a lot of girls too are like out of shape. Like, like a lot of people think when I see a girl that's out of shape, go on a pocket or anything, that complains about guys not satisfying her. No, it's just not. You're just not hot. Like, we need a carrot. Like, you're gonna go harder and have more fun with a girl that's hot and gorgeous, than a girl that's like mid, unless she brings something else to the table sexually,
Unless
right?
you love her, if that's your girl and you love her and everything,
And
that's
exactly,
different. But
or if
like,
it's the girl you love,
yeah,
which usually you would want to do that because you love her, right? But
yeah,
there's all these things, misconceptions, like that guys just go on. I'm like, listen, man, be smart. Go in there and do some detective work. Don't ever ask a girl directly. Ask about her friends. Kind of look at your female acquaintances, how they go about it, and all that stuff, and you'll realize, like when I said assume all girls are sluts, right? Um,
that was bold. But I mean,
yeah, and obviously
I
that's
think
like
she's
a
having way
red.
more sex than you. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's a red pill concept that people don't like because they want to project that if a woman's wearing a sundress and has long hair that she's pure, and I'm like, no, dude. I went out with a girl who's, um, I'm not gonna say the gym chain, but her dad either was part owner or owner of a very mainstream gym chain here in Dallas, and probably this region, United States. And she had her own gym to her name, even though she wasn't like into the gym lifestyle, right? But her dad gave her own gym in her own name, and she was a fifth grade teacher, was getting her master's. Very wholesome white girl, very fun, liked me, like she really liked me. And I tried to hook up with her the first night. She said no, I'm not ready. I'm like, okay. But she stayed in my bed, slept, and I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Um, and then we went out again, and she invited me back to her place. I was tired. I said, um, I was like, I had a lot of abundance around this time, so I was like, hey, I need to go to bed. Maybe we can reschedule, but I want to go home. I got work early, but we can chill better. We'll plan it better next time, right? That girl had an STD. She texted me. She said, hey, sorry. No, or she ghosted me, but she like ghosted me, but like was still like, she said she gave me the hey with the lowercase, and I'm like, oh, something's wrong. And she's like, hey, I have something happened, and that's why I haven't been talking to you. And then I had to really pry it out of her. She had an incurable STD, um, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? I said, well, I can't be with you, And I almost was with you, and
She knew
then
about it with that night, or she didn't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I stopped talking to her after that, and she was the
That
most
was God
wholesome.
protecting you. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and that was the most wholesome girl. And then fast forward, I dated a half Puerto Rican, half Dominican girl, one of the hottest women I've ever been with. And she was half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, gorgeous, um, insane body, like insane body. Like, I don't know why she came over and hung out with me. I still don't know why.
You're
But
a
hey,
good-looking, charming guy, and you're
thank you.
very smart. Well
Yeah,
spoken, calibrated. Give
yeah.
yourself some credit, man.
Well, thank you, man. But she also uh had incurable STD, and the same one. And
Oh shit.
I was like, okay, so I got tested, good to go. I'm smart. I use protection because I'm women I don't love. um, so the lesson here is that you assume, don't obsess. And the thing is that, like, it protected me. It deeply protected me in both, to assume, hey, both of these girls are getting around. You know, a slut can be a person. Everyone has their own definition of slut, but to me, it's just someone that has sex with multiple men
Yeah,
at the same time. Has a
yeah.
rotation. And in order, and the, I'm not saying that an STD, having sex with one person at a time, guarantees you won't get an STD, right? But having sex with multiple people increases your chances exponentially of getting one, especially if you're
Especially for
responsible.
women, like because of
Yeah,
everything that's happening. That's also because of the way women mate select, right? They want the guys that all women want. So that
yeah,
guy that she's being with is getting a lot of at bats, and that just thank God you were safe. I'm just glad to hear that
yeah.
you're okay.
And then the thing
Yeah,
is, like, the correlation. What's the difference between these women? One of them is a wholesome daddy's girl, rich family, fifth grade teacher, super sweet white girl, And even if I ever saw her again, even though she lied to me, I would say hi, give her a hug. I wouldn't kiss her, right? But like say hi, give her a hug, and then I hope things are well. And same for the other one. And the thing is, um, both of these women were like really good, like really nice and polite on the first date. They were very polite, very nice, very fun. But I could not let that cloud the whole hey, assume she's getting around, man,
Yeah, you have
because
to hold yourself back. That's
yeah,
amazing,
and I
man.
have yeah, and I have to like really look at this girl and I'm like, I have to separate her sexual choices from her, you know. So I'm like, hey, I like you, but I can't until you prove to me that you are for me, I can't start doing boyfriend stuff for you. You know, you gotta
Yeah,
at least convince me and like make me feel like even if it's a lie, give me the fantasy. Like lie to me. Put some effort into the lie. You know, something. But if you come to me and you know, you disappear for 2 weeks, or you're gone, and you come back out of nowhere, I'm gonna assume, hey, you just went off with another guy. That's fine. I don't
like
care
a
what you do with
stray
your
cat.
body.
Like you just like walk off
Yeah,
like a stray cat.
yeah, but we're not holding hands in public. You know, simple. Like I don't know what's so hard about that, but anyway, yeah. Um, so the whole process of sugar dating, you said okay. So you said you meet them. So vetting, how does okay? I know they message you. You said they message you first.
A lot of times they message me first, yeah. But
Okay,
I think of the girls I've seen for a long period of time, one of them I message first. A lot of them will message you first. Oh,
okay, and
my battery's about to die on my phone.
okay,
Um, but
uh,
let's. I got 20% battery. This is the strongest 20% is the last 20%.
okay,
Um, what was I about to say? Yeah. So a lot of them messaged me first. What I like to do is keep it chill. I just acted like it was on any normal dating site. I mean, we all know where we're at, and I was prepared to meet whatever expectations or what do you call it, requests you would make. The standard PPM in any city, for you guys that are curious, is rent on a decent one bedroom apartment, like a nice decent one bedroom apartment, divide by four. So whatever city that you're in, if you want to know what should the average sugar baby request for a meet is that much. So
okay,
I'm happy to do that, but I'll let her bring it up. So I just be like, hey, how's it going, or whatever I was gonna say, and she would say, this, hey, handsome, this and that, and then very quickly, within I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character. Within 2 or 3 messages, I can tell if I'm interested in meeting this person. Is she sweet? Is she like complimentary? Is she asking me questions? Is she interested? Just is her grammar and spelling right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and within 3 messages, hey, how are you? What do you have going on? Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm doing that. Hey, I'd like to meet you sometime. Can you tell me how I can set that up? So I would just ask an open-ended question. I would like
mm,
to meet you sometime. Can you tell me how that's possible? And that's her
okay,
opportunity to be like, some girls will want to ask for a meet fee. I haven't done a video about this, but some girls will ask for a meet fee. Some girls don't care. So that's why I would ask the open-ended question. Can you tell me how to set that up? And then so
okay,
she'll be like, yeah, we could do this. I'm free on Thursdays. I have a meet fee. That's this amount. I
okay,
honestly feel like there's gonna be a point where meet fees are standard in all of dating, like
mm,
Unhinged, Tinder, whatever. To me it makes sense because number one, the demand for female attention is so high. Number two, it actually to me the meet fee doesn't bother me. I said this in my videos because she has to get dressed, get ready, makeup, hair, shave her legs, all this stuff, and get there. And I'm just gonna take a shower and put on a t-shirt, or I mean
mm,
maybe a better shirt than that, but I'm gonna take a shower, put on a t-shirt, and spray some
yeah,
cologne on. So to me, it never bothered me. And at the time, you got to keep in mind too, like $200, $300 was not a big deal to me in return for having the experience that I wanted.
okay,
So so I would set that up. How can we set that up? She would ask for a meet fee or not, say what times she's available, and I would say, cool, meet me at. And I honestly just did the same things in sugar dating that I was doing in vanilla. In vanilla dating on dating apps, I always had my first dates on a weeknight, which is Sunday through Thursday night at the same place. And we'd have one or two drinks there, chat, da da da. It's like a slightly more upscale cocktail lounge. And it's on this strip with a sort of slightly better bars and stuff. The two drinks went well, vanilla and sugar, the sugar we're talking about. We have two drinks, we're laughing, chat, chat, chat. And then I would say, well, hey, you're hungry, let's go get a bite next door or down the street. It's just like two doors down.
mm,
So we do that. We go get a couple bites, maybe have some more wine or this or that, or the tapas, this and that. And we just talk. During that time, I never brought up money, and the girls didn't either. They just were basically feeling each other out. A meet and greet, like it's called, which is the first meeting with a sugar baby, is just when do I want to be around this person? People can do it differently, but that's how I treated it. I treated it like any other date.
Mm.
chatting. What do you do? What are you interested in? I'm feeling this girl out. Do I want to be bothered? Do I want her in my home? Do I want her in my life? Am I going to invest a considerable amount of money in this? Basically, I'm paying her rent plus in a consistent sugar baby relationship. I'm basically paying her rent, probably plus a little bit more for whatever she wants to do with it. Which I don't care, but what are you gonna do with it? You're gonna put it up your nose?
Mm-hmm.
Are you like da da da? Like I'm just curious.
Okay.
Because I'm not pressed, and because of how sugar dating works, is there's okay. If this one doesn't work, then there's more. I can get the one I want. I can get the body I want. I can get the personality that I want. I can get the just the bubbliness or the friendliness or the nasty or sexual adventurousness, whatever I wanted, I can have. So I want to make sure this is what I want before I start spending money.
Yeah, because you're investing into the
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can vet. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can get what I want. Is what I like. That's what I like the most about sugar dating. Is I understand about ego and this and that, and that makes sense. But what I like the most about it is I can have what I want. Like ordering a burrito at Chipotle, I can get exactly
Yeah.
25, 5, 10, caramel complexion, da 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 da. I can get as close to that as I want.
Mm.
So we meet up, and then at a certain point, so this actually happened a lot in my sugar dating. We have that interaction, have some food, da da da. And a lot of times they would text me later, or as we're walking to the car, they're like, "Oh, we forgot to talk about like paper meats and stuff like that," which I would want to think that they're just having such a good time that they even forgot that what this was about. But I don't care about that because I know how much a paper meat is supposed to be. And so I was like,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. So they would say that, and I would say, yes, that's fine. If I ever had a problem with it where it's too much, or I thought they were asking me for it, that never happened to me. I would probably decline. I never negotiated with women, and I never was like, I'm not gonna do that. How about this or da 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 da. I wasn't buying a used car. I wanted to have a good. I wanted to have an experience, and I already knew what was reasonable.
Mm.
And if she was gonna be acting ridiculous, that's not the type of person I wanted in my life. But I never had. I had the best sugar dating experiences, and that's why I'm probably slightly biased because I never had anybody like I've had the women in my house sleeping over. Like most of the girls slept over most of the time. They would come over and just like watch Netflix, and we went out to dinners and had nice times. But sometimes if I was sort of more tired or they were more tired, she just came over in sweatpants. We just watched TV. And one time we went to like a taco cart down the street from my house, got some tacos, came back, ate, and just like watched the Kanye West documentary in bed. And obviously we fooled around and things happened. But I don't know. Those were my experiences. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. It seems like you've had good experiences.
I've only had good experiences, which is why I'm
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
genuine,
It's very
truthful.
interesting. Yeah, because
Just nice girls.
yeah, and I feel like what you're paying for is just like femininity and I would say um just the time you're just trying to save time because and my other question is like okay between premium dating apps like what they charge failed dates and all that stuff do you feel like sugar dating and online dating, which is a case for, cold approach, social circle game, and all that stuff. Do you think that online dating and sugar dating are ever going to cost the same? And that's including opportunity costs, time, and everything like not only money, but time, effort, and mental health, all that stuff. Do you think sugar dating and online dating will ever converge in that they're the same in terms of what they cost an average guy?
Hmm.
Or is online or is sugar dating are we gonna be a little bit more expensive or twice as more expensive or something like that? Some arbitrary
Yes.
number.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think personally that within the next 3, 4, or 5 years, we'll see regular vanilla app dating become more like sugar dating. Because Tinder, there's a $500 a month Tinder option being trialed in some cities.
Mhm.
So what I think is going to happen is because guys that can afford it and guys that maybe are at a certain point in their lives where they just kind of like don't care
Mhm.
about all the other stuff will do it. Because why wouldn't I do it if I have nothing to prove to myself and this amount of money is workable in my budget? Why wouldn't I have the woman that I want come over or meet me somewhere, feminine, dolled up, smelling
Yeah.
good, just have like a fun night rather than. So a lot of my vanilla dating was like sort of women that were a little bit bitchy, a little bit my second language is sarcasm, all like
Oh yeah.
I'm not into that. And it's for me, honestly, it
Especially
was
as
so worth the
busy.
money. It
Yeah.
was so worth the money. Take the money. I don't care. Just come here and just be nice, smell good. Let's have a good time. Let's have some wine. Be like, oh, have you ever tried this? Da da da. Let's talk to the bartender. Let's go dancing. Like, it was worth it. It wasn't, honestly. I've said this in some of my videos as well. It's not about her. It's not. I don't care that I'm getting a result.
Mm-hmm.
I could burn this money up, ball it up, and throw it in the trash. I just want an outcome. It's not really
Yeah,
about her.
you don't see it as much as transactional. It's just more of like, you know, you're trying to have a good experience, a guaranteed good experience, which usually
Yeah, I want to have
it
a
looks
good
like for
experience.
you. Obviously, you put in the work on yourself. You work out. You've had a successful business for a
I
while.
appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a YouTube channel, a decent YouTube channel, and all that stuff. Like you've put in work in yourself in your life. So you still have to come with that. You can't just be a slob and a dork and a loser and expect good outcomes. But
Yeah, I
um,
think it would have been different if I was different, but I could chill. I could chat to them. I'm not that much older than the girls. I'm 40. They were like 25, 26. So
yeah,
we could talk about music. We could talk about stuff. We'd go to bars together and it wasn't weird.
yeah.
Like, so I think I was having sort of a unique experience. But any guys that's maybe under 45, if you're in decent shape and sort of just socially aware, if you're not like some, you know what I mean? You probably could have
Hmm.
a pretty good experience.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you for answering my questions, man. Any final thoughts on anything you want to say, or any final thoughts um,
Yeah.
to close out the show?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. A lot of people in the space, as you call it, will not talk about this. They don't want to talk about it, which is
And
crazy because
half of
there's
them
so
are
much of
doing
this.
it.
This is where the
Yeah.
hottest girls are. This is where the most successful men are, but nobody wants to talk about it because it's like cheating or this or that. And it's not, I don't feel like sugar dating is different than vanilla dating. You're still interacting with a woman.
Hmm.
You can't pay her enough to have her just like I was walking down the street one time with this girl and I just like grabbed her hand and she grabbed my arm back and squeezed it. And it just was like this moment we just looked at each other. It was you can't buy that, right? If she's not
Hmm.
comfortable, if she doesn't want to be close to you,
Yeah.
you could pay her. She's gonna maybe she'll physically be there, but she won't be there.
I've even heard stories where girls fall for the guy and they give the money back. But I don't know if that was Reddit. I don't know if you could believe that,
No, I
but
can definitely see that. I can see that happening because I had girls. I think I showed you the text message. Actually, this was like last summer.
yeah.
I showed you a text of the girl that was like, "Hey, I just want to be with you. I don't really care about money." Da, 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 da.
Yeah, and all you had to do was do what you had to do with any situation where is, be charming, be
Yeah,
socially
just being
calibrated,
myself.
smell good, hygiene, like normal stuff, normal basic 101 dating and man stuff. But all you're doing, the only difference is that you're paying to access for a beautiful girl and cutting through all that stuff. And
Basically, yeah, I'm paying for the at that, and so I can definitely I can believe it because that was a girl that I really liked a lot, and she just was like, I didn't ask her, I didn't care about the money because like what I said, but
mm,
a lot of these girls are just they just want to have money to help pay their rent. They have low paid wage jobs. They're in college. They're working on a modeling career or going to nursing school or something. They just need money, so they think, well, I'm pretty. You guys want to date me? But if they meet you and you're nice and cool and it clicks, not that they wouldn't ask for money or whatever, but it could be much more than. I think people think that it's like going to the DMV. You put your money on the counter and then she lays there and then you put zip
yeah,
your pants up
yeah,
and you leave. And it's
yeah, that I
not.
guess something weird, like creepy, and that's
Yeah,
different. That's not. I don't consider that sugar dating. That's like
no.
getting an escort, and which, hey, if that's your thing too, like
But
go
not even
ahead.
all escorts are like that. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
escorts are really nice people. They just need
yeah,
money, and they're like, "Well, I'm pretty. Why not?" So I don't know. I haven't had
yeah.
that experience yet, so maybe we can have a round two after I've had a negative experience, and I could be a better resource. But thank you for having me on.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, you guys know where to find. Where can they find you? I know you have your website up there. Where else can we find you?
Yeah, you can
Just
find me
repeat
on
that.
Twitter. I'm tweeting all day long. Twitter /ChanceBerryman and Chance Berryman on YouTube. So just search that into YouTube. If you search a sugar dating topic, you'll probably see a video of mine come up. So
Sweet.
thanks for having me on. Congratulations on your channel, bud.
Oh, thanks, man. Like, and thanks for I thank you for coming on to my channel, making the time. I wanted to make this kind of shorter, but I guess we had so much to talk
Yeah,
about.
my
So
pleasure. My pleasure.
yeah. So okay, guys, thank you for watching the video. You guys know where to find me. I'll post all the links below, and I'll post a link to Chance's channel in the description below when I get time. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. Good night, guys.
All right, bye. Hold on. We gotta put the outro on. There we go.